The Canes lost to Buffalo, to the Sabres yesterday. And it does seem like everyone's finally addressing the elephant in the room. The Canes have been playing underwhelming hockey for 2 months, and we've been dancing around it. We've been dancing, or we occasionally reference something like, they've won 3 games in a row since like mid-November. These scoring droughts have been going on for a little bit. Like we're talking about the weather, and we're just like, yeah, but tomorrow it's going to be sunny, right? It's just casual. Losing in that fashion last night to the Sabres, who, by the way, are not a good team, finally kind of broke the dam, broke the seal, whatever you want to call it. And now everyone's willing to acknowledge there's a problem. And the first step towards solving a problem is acknowledging there is a problem. Rod Brind'Amour, after the game, talking about the defense, the lack of urgency, and some of the other things that would lead towards that particular outcome.
Unfortunately, tonight I thought our D weren't very good. Usually that's, a strength, but that wasn't good enough the way they were handling the puck. And, it seems to be one thing and one night, one the next, but we do need to, be better. That's just it. At the end of the day, it's the urgency needs to be more dialed in from the start of the game.
Urgency. The defense wasn't good. Usually it is. That's actually a theme, I think. And you're going to hear a little bit of it. We'll play some audio from Slavin in a second. One of the themes of the postgame yesterday was, this isn't usual for us. Our defense wasn't very good. Usually it is. We're usually a team that has some consistency and shows up. We're just not now. Slavin asked if this type of game is uncharacteristic of them.
Typically I would say yes, but it's kind of been leaking in, right, for the past month and a half, and so it's not good enough, and we got to be better.
That's the Slavin equivalent of like 75 bleep words and name calling, right? That's him about as frustrated as he's been. And he continued saying it's simply not good enough.
We're known as a team that competes every night. We're consistent. We have a chance to win every night. But lately we haven't had chances to win every night. And so we're not helping ourselves by the way we play. We play like that, and it's again, it's not good enough as a group. To a man, it's not good enough, and so we can all be better.
To a man, it's not good enough. Now, I'm not happy they're there, but I'm happy it was said. Today, it feels different. It feels like people are looking for solutions rather than ignoring problems today. I had a guy on Twitter thinks it's my fault. Said every time I bring up that the team they're playing is near the bottom of the standings, or say they're not very a good team, or point out that they're near the bottom in goals scored or goals allowed, whatever it is. He's like, as soon as you say it, I know you're jinxing. I'm like, all right, well, first of all, that's disrespectful to the NHL players that have dedicated their whole lives to becoming great hockey players, to think somehow what I say is the thing that's determining the game. But he approached me on Twitter. He tried to solve it, right? He wants me to stop doing it. People are looking for solutions. We're over there in the cubicles. Dennis is coming up to me. I mean, stats on stats on stats on how the Canes are not great at getting essentially off the bus, right? They're not scoring early, and when they fall behind in the first period, when they give up first period goals, they struggle with it. Dennis, can you give us a Cliff Notes version of the numbers you researched?
So when the Carolina Hurricanes score the first goal of the game, when they score first, their record, 15-6.
That's pretty good.
In 21 games this season, they've scored the first goal, 15-6. When the opponent scores the first goal, 11-10-3. Simple as that. If you just go strictly to the first period, because you might be 0-0 after the first or tied 1-1. If the Canes lead after the first period, they're 12-4. If they're trailing after the first, 5-8-3. That just goes to show you the lack of scoring punch this team has to overcome deficits. For example, you look at the first 18 games of the season, Carolina Hurricanes were 14-4.
Mm-hmm.
Had that hot streak to start the year. They scored a first period goal in 15 of those 18 games. In the 27 games since, where they're 12-12-3, they've only scored a first period goal in 16 of 27.
These are the types of conversations that are happening today that I'm not sure they were happening a week ago, and I don't think the Canes are playing a ton worse now than they were a week ago or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. But now you're diagnosing, right? You're looking for the issue. You're searching for the needle in the haystack. And when I'm saying you, I'm talking about the universal you, like Canes fans, Canes players, as you just heard from Slavin, Canes coaches, as you heard from Rod Brind'Amour. It's no longer we're gonna figure it out. It's no longer trust the process. I'm a Sixers fan, so I hate that. It's no longer give it time, right? We know what we're doing. We've been here before. It's not. There's a problem here, right? Slavin saying we're a team that can be depended on, that you can win any night. You're going to be competitive every night, and then you just have to execute, and we haven't been that yet. There's nights where we haven't been competitive. That is acknowledging a pretty significant problem. Now it becomes diagnosing the problem, hunting for the cure, the solution to the problems, and moving forward. But until you acknowledge that something ain't right, you have no reason to try to get right. And this becomes the main focus. It becomes the obsession of everyone in that building, from owner Tom Dundon on down. Eric Tolsky, right? The GM. There's going to be a trade deadline at some point in time, and is there something you can do to fix it, solve it, cure it, whatever word you want to use? Losing to the Sabres should be unacceptable. And it would be one thing if you had won 11 of your previous 12, just making up stats here, and you drop a dumb one on the road, we'll give you more benefit of the doubt. But when you've been playing essentially 500 hockey for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I'm not going to forgive. I'm not going to go, oh, what a weird game that was up there in Buffalo. I'm not going to do the whole, well, you lost the game, you look bad, but Nate just scored. Hey, how about it? It's not that right now. The elephant in the room has been addressed. Patience, trusting the process. It's the second or third time I've referenced this recently, but there is a fine line between a healthy amount of patience and an unhealthy amount of stubbornness. Right, healthy amount of patience is not panicking, not making gigantic moves at the first sign of trouble. Right, trusting that you knew what you were thinking and knew what you were talking about when you made previous decisions in the offseason or beyond. Unhealthy stubbornness is watching a team not live up to their talent level, watching a team not perform as well as they should, and ignoring it because we'll figure it out. We always do. I mean, sometimes you have to actively go figure it out. The universe doesn't fix it for you. And I will echo what we said earlier this week because I don't think it changes with a loss to the Sabres. They're still a postseason team. They're still a playoff team. They will still win games. They are still the envy of a handful of teams in the NHL that would love to just have the level of success the Canes are having. I'm not denying any of that. But when you put together the last 6 years, your expectations rise, and that's what I'm talking about. You need to fix things to go, raise your level, raise your average, raise your end of season possibilities. But losing to the Sabres, not a great team. Giving up a hat trick too. There's things that are just add insult to injury.